In every culture, caregiving is a deeply personal act of love, but for South Asian families, it's also rooted in tradition, duty, and identity. More than 1 in 5 Americans have stepped into the role of a caregiver over the past year. That number has grown significantly, highlighting not just a national need, but a personal one felt in countless homes. As America's aging population becomes more diverse, so too must the resources that support them. AARP understands that effective caregiving must be culturally responsive, compassionate, and community-driven. In this episode, we meet Indira, Venkat, and Prabh Kaur, 2 powerful voices at AARP who are not only shaping caregiving programs, but have lived the caregiving experience themselves. Together, they share how AARP is supporting South Asian families with empathy, practical tools, and cultural understanding.
What we are most focused on is understanding our audiences. Who are they? What are the challenges that they are facing? What are their needs and wants? What products and services and solutions can we bring to the marketplace that will improve the lives of those older adults?
Tell me your journey personally. Do you consider yourself a caregiver?
For me, it's my duty. It's what's expected out of me. But now that there is a label to it, I think what that does allow me is to understand where are all the resources that I can tap into. So it has kind of shifted my perspective a little bit. But yes, I am a caregiver. I have always been a caregiver.
For years, Indira navigated the emotional and logistical challenges of being a long-distance caregiver for her ailing mother. Indira's mother passed away in 2024. She now takes care of her aging father, who lives alone in Chennai, India. You're working at AARP. Mm-hmm. How has that made you understand your role as a caregiver more?
One, I know what all the different approaches and options are. I understand the challenges that they face. And so I think I'm a lot more empathetic, not just to the person I'm giving care to, but also with the others who I'm sharing caregiving responsibilities with.
How did you balance caring like that long distance?
It's not easy. And sometimes it is ridden with guilt in that, did I give enough time? So it requires some degree of coordination among my siblings and with the larger family because they all step in. And so I think another learning is to ask for help.
Social isolation is a growing concern for seniors, especially after a loss of loved one. How do you help your father overcome that?
My father slowly started to lose his hearing. And as much as I tried to get him to wear a hearing aid, he chose not to. So he started to withdraw a little bit, and that was concerning when my mom passed. We are taking turns to visit him so that we are not doing it all at the same time. We are in constant touch now with my dad. And it's not just his children, but his grandchildren as well.
What is the message that you want to give out to caregivers, so many caregivers, that they are not alone?
At AARP, we've got a Caregiving Resource Center. There are millions of caregivers in the US. Be aware of all the resources. Don't hesitate to reach out and take advantage of those resources. Sometimes it just helps to talk to somebody. Sometimes the anonymity of joining a Facebook group and the like also helps because all it says to you is you're not alone in this journey.
Now we meet Prabh Kaur, a long-distance caregiver who supported her mother through illness and now cares for her father after her mother's passing, all while facing her own battle with cancer.
I'm a caregiver right now for my dad, who is widowed, and before that, about 5 years ago, my mom had a bout of cancer. I was traveling back and forth from New York to North Carolina to take care of her. And so at that point, I was working in corporate America, which makes it a little bit difficult to do caregiving.
How did you discover any resource from AARP?
I started looking online just to see what was available. And just by coincidence, I ran across AARP and so looked at some of the caregiving resources.
Is there any particular resource that you hope every South Asian should know about?
Definitely the caregiving from afar. There's support groups that AARP has about caregiving, so you don't feel like you're the only one going through it.
AARP's message, "You are not alone," how does that resonate with you personally?
I love that idea because I think in this Western culture, we're very used to being independent. It's that cowboy mentality of I can do it all, I can do it all. And so doing things together and in community, I think is where the success is for us.
As a daughter, do you feel more responsible for your parents?
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, you know, it's, as a daughter, I worry more. Indian women are reared and shaped to be a certain way, and that caregiving and the nurturing part is inherent.
Your father lost his wife, your mother, recently. What has that transition been like? Has it affected him practically and his mental well-being?
I think so. We're still going through that journey. So I do see that he's isolated. I do see that he is more limited now. Speaking of AARP resources, he joined a local AARP group. So they volunteer, they do activities, it gets them out of the house.
So do you think there is this particular stigma that South Asian caregivers face? And if so, how would we close that barrier?
First thought that came to mind is the gender roles. And so the expectation that women are the caregivers, I think, is a stigma. How do we close it is an interesting question, because that speaks to me to the deeper way we raise girls and we raise boys. For me, it's our generation teaching the next generation.
What about you? How do you take care of yourself through this all?
It goes back to community and having really, really good girlfriends and friends. You know, I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, so it's within that community that sustains me.
What piece of advice would you give others who are going through a caregiving journey and perhaps feeling overwhelmed?
Get a support network and look for a caregiving group. You're not alone. And then give yourself grace and know that you're doing something really difficult and worthwhile.
Caregiving is a journey filled with responsibility and often sacrifice. Indira and Prabh's experiences remind us that support matters. When resources reflect the communities they serve, caregivers feel seen, heard, and empowered. AARP continues to stand beside caregivers, offering not just tools and information, but compassion and connection. Because when caregiving is met with empathy and cultural understanding, it becomes more than a responsibility. It becomes the foundation for stronger families, stronger communities, and stronger cords of connection.